Today we have this very special interaction planned for you, our viewers, with someone who has not only built an institution as a company called L&T, but the way L&T, the role it has played in nation building itself. And we are talking about the 6 decades Mr. A.M. Naik had spent building the nation as well as the company L&D, which is such a unique company in infrastructure and engineering in our country. Mr. Naik, thank you so much for this opportunity. First of all, it's an honor to be with you here today.
Thank you.
Today we are having this chat when you must be resting very comfortable. You have a great team. You have put an amazing succession in place. But when you look back on the difficulties you had building this company at a time when infrastructure and engineering itself was a very foreign concept here in India. Today you are competing with all the global companies here and winning hands down.
Also outside, and winning hands down there also.
So how do you feel looking back on your
I feel good. I mean, there is no doubt that it has been very satisfying what has been spent over 6 decades. And I have given a tremendous importance to succession planning, leader after leader after leader over the benches. So I had 5 generations of leaders which I had mentored over last 50 years. And then of course the latest is now when I'm withdrawing. And I'm going to be still around. I mean, finally I'm a chairman of the L&T Employees Trust, which is the biggest shareholder of L&T.
Yes, you've beaten them in their game, in their turf, not only here in India.
And that is a satisfying moment, you know.
So I want to go back.
And by the way, in 2000, we had 0 export, 0. Today, 1/3 of L&T.
In this period, you've also seen India change its complexion, especially in the last 10-15 years. How are your observations there?
India has changed a lot, I would say, but could have been much faster, much better, much straighter. In the sense I mean, straighter means no malpractices, no corruption, and the business done in a very transparent manner. On that front, we need to improve a lot.
So now that we are going towards some 3 to 6 trillion size of economy, opportunity
5 trillion.
5 trillion in the next few years. What kind of opportunity do you see in infrastructure, in green hydrogen, where L&T has got very high degree of interest, and other new areas?
Well, I mean, the point is there is a tremendous scope in our country with 130 crores. Any amount of work that you do is not, I would say, enough. Because per capita, you see, every time we say we will become the 5 trillion and we will become the biggest economy. My point is, what is your economy per capita?
Per capita.
Right? When you say I have overtaken UK, right? The UK is 75 million max. You are 1.4 billion, sometimes you say 1.35, 1.3, okay, let us take 1.3, right? That is 14 to 15 times of England. So if you have overtaken, per capita, you are 1/15th of UK. I think that's a right way of measuring how the country is moving ahead to give an opportunity and take, let's say, maximum people out of poverty. To prosperity. I mean, if you become a 3rd largest at 5 trillion, that's not enough for 130 billion people.
So you mean to say, in absolute terms, it is not sufficient alone. We need to also, in per capita terms, improve the number.
I think you have to look at only per capita.
Okay. And what would it take to get there, to improve the per capita in much faster proportion?
I think the rate of growth has to be in double digit. I think China has done it for 20 years, double digit. They may be in single digit now, but they have done it. And in 45 years from China, which was compared with India, now today they are competing with US. That is the power of concentration of what you can achieve in a system which is highly disciplined. It may be called autocratic. India, the problem is you move ahead and there are 10 people pulling you down. So the net improvement is very slow.
That is why the growth which we are showing right now, you see potential of that improving going forward?
Double, 12%.
12% from
Yes.
6.5 odd.
If China can do it, why you
not?
can't do it? The
The
point is, are there any growth opportunities? According to me, there are. If you have resources, managerial resources, technical resources, and financial resources. Right? Now, if you are a very efficient country, people will look upon you and invest,
Which is
like they invested billions and billions of dollars in China. Now, when the world is talking about China plus one, that means alternative to China, China investment is for China. Outside China, we need another source. It's a golden opportunity for India.
Are we not grabbing it nicely?
Not good enough.
Okay.
That's what I was saying. Vietnam is much faster in catching up.
So what about the stuff which we have done so far? How do you rate the work done in terms of infra spending, in terms of the way
L&T or country?
No, the country. Of course, L&T is participating in it in all the major projects. But how do you see the work done on infra and capital spending so far? Do you see momentum continue?
I think, as I told you, with 130 billion people, we need 5 to 6 times more. 5 to 6 times than what we are doing now. However, if you look back, the rate of growth and spending in infrastructure and core sector has improved, no doubt. But it can be much more.
Right. So let's come to L&T. The L&T which you have built up for tomorrow, as you were saying, for that, what are the areas where you see the sunrise sectors for opportunities from L&T's perspective?
So far, what we are doing in yesterday's L&T, hydropower, clean air,
correct,
nuclear power, clean air, right? Then, if you do solar power, which L&T is the biggest, putting up the plant.
Yes, EPC work.
And you might be surprised to know we are doing 10,000 crore worth of solar power plant in Saudi, outside India. And this year our target is 8,000 more.
Doubling it.
So we have 50% outside, 50% within India. In India, basically the resources are not good enough. And the third thing is wind energy. Right? Now we are working on wind energy, not just green energy, so-called what you call. According to me, green energy is all these four energy.
Put together.
Now, wind energy needs a lot of space. And that you can't take away from agriculture. When the land mass, China has 3 times more.
Yes.
US has 3 times more. Canada has 9 times more. And if you look at per capita, it is much, much more.
Yes.
Right? US has 325 million people. 1/4 of you. But their land mass is 3 times more.
Yes.
Without Alaska. So, their land mass is per capita 12 times more than you.
Than us.
Right? So, I think you have a lot to catch up. And you got to have focused, dynamic, political will and leadership to be able to do it.
How do you rate the current political leadership?
We'll come to that later. Let me finish the green energy part. Now, when you talk about the, let's say, wind energy, as I told you, it requires a lot of mass, and then you will find the land is not that much available, and wind farms cannot be put up wherever you want. you'll have to see the wind velocity, wind efficiency. And when you take all that into account, India doesn't have too many
Areas where
areas which are also not agriculture friendly or agriculture oriented. So a lot of wind farms are going to come up in the coastal part. That means in the water, right? In the areas in which the wind energy efficiency will be very high.
high.
I think next 2 decades you will find a lot happening in wind energy, as you also will see lot happening in electrolyzers and hydrogen and so on. And we are starting in that. We have allocated our shops ready, and I mean design and engineering tie-up ready. So we are now today waiting for the project to come up, to build, and projects are still not economically viable, right? And the point is, if you say green energy, where will you use? The power will be used for driving various kinds of durables. If you look at car, electric car, right? Battery is the problem.
Yes.
Basic issue in electric car is the battery
Feedback.
intensity and life. So that you can put it over next 200 to 50 kilometers. And it doesn't run out in 50 kilometers or 100 kilometers. But we will talk about that later. Now you tell me, you had the next question.
Yeah, I want to understand a little bit about. So you gave us a slight tour in the L&T of tomorrow. That this is one very big area. We also see a lot of stuff happening in defense, in area of defense. That's also something which India is from net importer is trying to do a lot of stuff indigenously. How that big opportunity shows up on L&T's radar now. We see a lot of good announcements there.
Well, according to me, India has one problem: more talk than doing it. And if you see the capital expenditure in defense by value, what have we done? $3 billion imported from US, $3 billion now imported from France, perennially we import from Russia. So per annum, not how many items is indigenous, how much spend is indigenous, and capital indigenous, because bulk of our money goes in operating costs. That you have several lakhs of soldiers and feeding them and salary of them and
that cost is
infrastructure from them at remote places. So I think the main issue, what you are saying about defense, is much more need to happen, much more. And India must hurry up in that. That is because you have two adversaries right at the border, and joining them strategically to really fight with you, and that is Pakistan and China. And I can't understand, China has every year $60–70 billion trade deficit with China. This is what happened between China and US. US went on, outsourcing everything from China. And China was autocratic, so they could do what they want. And we have innumerable imponderables, so we don't have that speed. And therefore, we can't be China efficiency, or we are not. We can be, but we are not. So, I think the green energy, what you raised before I come to this point, lot will happen in future. Cost has to come down. And on wind energy, lot will happen in water over 10–20 years. So I have been advocating internally, not advocating, thinking also. Why can't we have two blocks? One yesterday and today's L&T, which is the infrastructure and power and conventional power, conventional hydrocarbon, heavy engineering, defense, within defense, the regular defense, and the today's and tomorrow's L&T. Now we have a platform, $6 billion of IT, and tremendous skill which no one has got. Show me a single IT company plus, so use that platform and build up what you have to do on digital and AI and automation and electronic component manufacturing in that area. On the other hand, in the same thing, other subdivision will do green power. Now, when it comes to green power of wind, it may still be done because of the nature in L&T 1. Solar may be still done in L&T 1.
So, have you formalized some kind of a structure within?
It is in my mind. I keep talking to our CEO. I'm sure that he has also similar thing in mind. And in our 5-year strategic plan, it is already reflecting. It has that kind of thinking.
L&T 1 and
The
L&T
problem is, I have been trying to get a CEO which doesn't upset the whole L&T. And that man wants 100 crore, 50 crore, 50 crore to nothing.
You had some conversations
With whom?
with some candidates of this sort?
I had over time 2, 3, 4 candidates, but they always wanted huge stock option, like a startup company or very, very upcoming company where people give also the partnership and so on.
Sure.
The world have changed.
So, how will it fit
And money
into?
has no value.
How will it fit into the current structure, which you have also groomed over the years in such an amazing manner?
Well, I think we will have to restructure not just as a division, 2 division, but little more where the rest of L&T don't see them.
As some kind of a competition type.
Yeah, and that's what we did for IT by forming a separate company. Otherwise, if they are part of L&T, which they were, it was not possible because 4 times more salary the industry was paying. If we pay, the whole L&T will go mad on us. Something will happen in this 5-year plan, which will be over in 2026 or another 3 years.
Sir, a quick word on SNS also, the leadership at L&T right now, the way you have grown and the way he's running the ship. Your thoughts?
He's an outstanding man. And I first met him in 2006, although I was a CEO and chairman from 99. ECC, which is a construction group, was more of a automation, the autonomic. And it had a deputy managing director. So I concentrated on rest of L&T restructuring and verticalizing and forming the operating companies and all of that. As I said, restructuring is a constant process. It is not once you restructure and it's done. And when that change and new man came as a director of ECC, he was very enthusiastic seeing the result of rest of the company's verticalization. He asked me, can't we do something in ECC? And I said, we can. And we changed the whole structure. Whole means upside down. And we changed the name of ECC. He said, you are L&T Construction Group. They had a separate symbol, triangle, and in between written ECC. We removed that and he said, you have L&T Construction Group. And second, every job less than 25 crore, we had lost money. So I said, nobody will take job less than 25 crore. And the whole ECC shaken up. But slowly they reconciled. Next year I said nobody will take less than 100 crore.
So you kept the bar going up.
Then they realized they can achieve 100 crore. So I had to work less when we raised it to 250. And from 250 to 500 to 1000 they have done on their own because they know it can be done. Of course the infrastructure spend also went up. The project also became more complex of the kind which L&T, suitable to L&T.
Sir, I want to understand from you, Mr. Naik, your process of choosing leaders, because L&T is such a behemoth. You have leaders at everywhere, otherwise the organization will not work. And the leaders should be suitable to their role, their capabilities, everything. What is your own mind process about
I'll give
choosing
you
leaders?
our 7-step development process, which I designed in 2002. Where you start with basically a business development. Then step 2 is a leadership development. Step 3 is in the international business development. Step 4, likewise, when you come to 5 is an international CEO program, and each one with the best institution. So step 5 is with Harvard, step 4 is with INSEAD, step 3 is with Raw School of Management, and then top 6 we send them to the approved institution or institutes like London School of Business. Likewise, we have selected 8 of them and we keep sending them every year.
But personally, what are those qualities?
I'm coming. And then step 7 is mentoring with me.
Oh, that's the most important.
Okay? But step 5 onwards, they run in parallel. If I see some very smart man, so we devise 2 streams of leaders. And I am mentoring, and it's my hobby for last 50 years. So it's not something today. So how to develop business leaders and the smartest people had been my, without tension, my hobby. People's man, talking to them, and they liked. People used to like. And if I don't see them once in 3 months in mentoring, they get worried. Has boss forgotten me or what? So it had been a tremendous amount of enthusiasm to come in step 7. Step 7 is not easy. Now, there are 2 streams. One is the current stream. So the stream number 1, all the people were on the board, or CEO, or IC head. Then I close that.
But sir, great chatting with you. I think 1 full day is not enough also to take your learnings. But so nice to chat with you. Great having you, sir. And thank you very much for this honor to be.
Thank you.
coming
Tomorrow is our AGM. I hope
Yes,
you know.
of course, we will cover it. We cover every time, every year we cover your AGM, all the commentary.
And my last AGM.
Is it? You will be going there physically?
Obviously, this is my last AGM.
No, we will
All
definitely cover it.
shareholders are looking up for the last AGM.
We will definitely, cover your speech and we cut it very nicely, and we'll show it on both our channels for sure, sir.
Okay.
Have a
thank
great AGM, sir.
you. All the best.
Thank
all
you
the
so much,
best.
sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank
Good
you, sir.
luck.
Thank you.